Just going to wait to a few of you jump on and when I can see the comments. It always takes a while with Facebook. Sometimes I can't even get on at all. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. Hi Sue Corbin, haven't seen you for ages, would love to see you soon. Right, on the 26th of this month, it will be 2 years from the murders of Josh, Harry and George. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. 2 years, and for us families it feels like it was only yesterday. It's been Groundhog Day every day, and the government don't care that you experience that. They don't care how it affects you. They don't care what they've done. Most things they've done to our face. That's how it's been for us. Things that you haven't seen as public out there. Now I wanted to just reiterate and go over how far we've got since the murders of our boys. The murders of Josh, Harry and George happened on a Friday night. By the Monday, early evening, was when us families started to realise the lies that was being told to us. So within 4 days we realised. We started speaking out, we started asking questions, no answers was being given to us. And I mean no answers. They'd sit there with a little black book, we'd ask a question, and they'd tell us that they'd come back to us with the answer, because they never ever had an answer in this little black book that they carried. And they never came back to us with an answer, ever. Not once. It was one of the quickest cases in history, and we were saying this at the time, that the judge was going to sentence the murderer with less than 4 weeks of it happening. Less than 4 weeks. They didn't do an investigation. They spent the whole time covering it up, which we have the evidence of. And they know we have the evidence, because they have the same evidence and we have the same evidence. We've been there, we've been to police meetings and shown them the evidence, even though they have the evidence and even though they covered it up. And they still don't care. They play this game like tennis. So when you show them something, they will then say, so you're saying that is that. So they sit there and play their game of not admitting anything. To your face, to your face. We found out last year that he didn't have any insurance, but was never charged with not having no insurance. We found out that he wasn't given permission to use the car, so that's stealing a vehicle, was never charged with it. Again, the police lied there and covered that up. Tried to say that he did have insurance and that he did have permission. In fact, what the police did say to us is that they drove 2 hours to where his brother works and spoke to him there. They never drove anywhere. They went round the corner to his house and spoke to him there. Just lie after lie after lie. Me and Nicola, we went to Hayes Police Station last year, and I have these all recorded. I just haven't put them out yet. And queried about the insurance, why he was never charged with it. 3 hours I sat there and I demanded a crime reference number and told Hayes Police Station that I wasn't leaving until they gave me a crime reference number. After 3 hours, eventually I got one. And this was regarding him stealing the car. Because either the police lied to us, which is perjury, or the brother was lying, which was fraud. 3 hours it took me to get a crime reference number. We knew it was the police line anyway, but we wanted them to investigate it. We wanted the police to do their duty, to uphold the law, which is what they don't do. So me and Nicola left the station. We waited 3 months. We hadn't heard anything, so we went back, which we have recorded. And they told us that they closed it down. So basically, more than likely, as soon as we left the station, They closed it down and obviously didn't investigate it, because they would have been investigating their own, which is what they don't do, is it? You know, they all stick up for each other like, you know, a club. That's what they do. So even the insurance admitted that he didn't have any insurance. This was quite recently. So when the police found out quite recently that the insurance had told our solicitor that he didn't have any insurance, what happened? When the police found that out, they rang up the insurance company, and the next minute the insurance company rang our solicitor and said they made a mistake. This is how they do it. Thank you, Fiona. This is how they do it. Another thing that the mainstream media and the police and everyone fed you was that he was a drunk driver. He was never charged with being a drunk driver 2.5 times over the limit. And we've also, as families, tested 2.5 times over the limit, and we've bought different breathalyzers, because we know that if you drink 2 pints of lager at 4%, you can be over the legal limit. And 2.5 is not someone drunk. It's someone over the legal limit, but it's not someone drunk. So we've tested all these things. We've done our background checks. We've had private investigators. We've done our own investigations. And he never got charged with drink driving. And please remember that, because it's important, because they could never prove it. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why they could never prove it, shall I? Is that after arrest, when the FME went to the hospital to take his blood, he was on his own. He didn't have any police presence. He didn't have any police standing around him. This man's under arrest. Why is he alone in the hospital? Why is he alone in the hospital? Now, that's a massive question, isn't it? Why was he alone in the hospital after arrest, this murderer, with no police presence? So the FME left. And then a couple of hours later, they got in touch with the FME again to come back and take the blood. And the FME was refusing to come back because he'd already been there with no police presence. Now, we have the evidence of all of this. The evidence of it all. Many statements. And even though the majority are police statements, and the ones that are not police statements are not the original statements. None of it. There's so much to this story. So much. And it's massive, and it's a story that needs to be told for Josh, Harry and George, and it's a story that needs to be told to you, the public. Because right now in this country, it is not safe. And this is not me being over dramatic. This is me telling the truth. And I wish I'd have seen someone online telling me that before this happened to my son. When your children walk out your door in this country, it's like playing Russian roulette, whether they're going to come home. Whether they're going to come home. Now, I know, because I'm on the streets a lot, that there's so many families fighting for justice, so many. And that's what I like about the Yellow Vests. Because there is so many people hurting in the Yellow Vests. So many people going through their own injustices. And that's why I like being a Yellow Vest, and that's why I like walking with them. Yes, we've been infiltrated terribly, but of course we're going to be infiltrated, aren't we? That's how the government do their game. Infiltration, controlled opposition. When I first came out on the 18th of March last year, and I went to Speaker's Corner, and I spoke out, it was just me, Harry's mum, Nicola, and Harry's, Nicola's mum, Harry's nan. We were standing in the snow, it was freezing, and we stood there and we told all these people who were listening to us about our 3 boys. And from that day, I met many people that I thought cared, about 3 murdered children, but they didn't. was trying to use our boy's story for their own outcome, their own agenda. Now, I expect those things from the government. I expect those things from the police. I expect those things from controlled opposition. But I don't expect those things from people who pretend to be patriots and people who are mothers themselves. They do Chinese whispers in their covert operations through Messenger. They've even said things about my son, which have been lies. Things about me, terrible stuff. But I've taken it all on the chin, sticks and stones, because I know they do that to divert me. They want me to respond. I know how they work. I know that all their psychology. I know their gaslighting. I know their tactics. And that's what they can't handle about me. It's the same with Joseph and Bobby Blair, those two great men they are. Honest, great men. They should have thousands of people supporting them because they go out there telling their heartbreaking story, and every time they tell it, they're reliving those moments. But no, people don't want victims speaking out. People don't want strong people speaking out. Because when victims speak out, the controlled opposition can't feed you their narrative and lead you down dead ends. And that's what they don't like about me, because what I speak is the truth. And I won't stop speaking out, and people know that. So I take it all. I take it for Josh, Harry and George, even though most of the stuff for Josh, Harry and George, we fight behind closed doors. You know, since the 1st of August, when you know the letter went off to the Attorney General, and still no response. Boris Johnson was CC'd in that email, and still no response from the Attorney General. I don't know what the hell we pay these people for. I really, really don't know what we pay them for. So they can live a lavish lifestyle. While we're paying into the Treasury, they are taking it out the back door. Believe me, believe me. I've learnt so much. And that's why I always inform you to please research, because research is the key. And knowledge is power, and they don't want you to have that. They think the working class, the working poor and the poor are stupid. That's how they treat us. And we're far from that. We're far from that, all of us. And all of us matter. You matter, your children matter. Our children mattered. And we are not the political class collateral damage. We are not their collateral damage. And we are not just a number. We are not. I will stand my ground until the end. I've had all sorts going on, and one day you will find out everything that they have done to me, as well as taking my son. I just don't put it out here because that's not the story. I don't want to deflect from our boys, the children of this nation and the people of this nation. And this country that was once a great country when I was growing up as a child. I was a latchkey kid. I was on the streets a lot. That's what I was. So I learnt to defend and stand up for myself. Even though I've got quite a few brothers, I've got no sisters, I learnt to stand my ground. And I always will. I always. Now, I just want to speak about another young lad, because I think it's important, because this is the psychological game that the mainstream media play with the people. And I will quickly just say this, so you can go and research this, and you'll spot this yourself when I say it. Now, the young lad, Harry Dunn, I don't have to say much because his family speak out, and, you know, his mother is a strong woman, but I want to point this out. So on the 15th of January, in the paper, you know, the fake news, 95% of the paper is fake news, by the way. Now, on the 15th, I've got it here, of January, Boris Johnson made a comment to the BBC. He told the BBC that he believed the chance of that lady, I can't pronounce her last name, I'm so sorry. You know I'm not always good at that. Mrs. Sarkoulas, I think. I'm sorry if I incorrectly say that. He said he believed the chance of that woman being extradited is very low. Now, Harry's Dunn mother was told about that comment from Boris Johnson on her birthday. Not to her that it would have mattered it was her birthday, because I know she wouldn't have been celebrating it. But this is what they do. They want to keep you as low as they can keep you. They want you in torment as much as they can keep you in torment so that you don't notice what is going on. The other thing they've done on the 18th of January, they've put out a video. And what they've done in this video, they've said they've caught other cars, right? This is how they've played it. And you can find it online. I think it's on the Daily Mail. They've done a video where they've got this car coming round a bend and they're saying that near the RAF, that they have cars going on the other side of the road, that it's happened twice and one has been caught on webcam. Now, when you go and look at that video, what you'll see is a single track, what looks like a single track. Now, I've looked on Google Maps because I research everything, and there is a single track road that is not far from the RAF. But what they're doing there is that they want people to look at that video and see that it's a single track road. Like, you may get 1.5 cars on there, for you to then sit there and question, well, hang on a minute. That looks like that's only wide enough for 1 and a bit cars. So how could this woman have been on the other side of the road? This is how they do it. This is how they do it. So they start putting that fault in the public's mind, like they did with ours, drunk driver who lost control of the car. No, he didn't. And he was never charged with drink driving. But this is how the mainstream media do it. And this is what you've got to look out for. Their predictive programming. What they're trying to lead you to believe. Propaganda. It's a propaganda machine. And that is all it is. Go back to JFK, John F. Kennedy. Now, there's people that out there believe that he was assassinated because of the speech he did on secret societies and when he spoke to the press in that speech, because the press are not informing you, the public, of what should be national concerns of what is going on here in this country, and the press are not telling you. They're not telling you. Absolutely, Diane. Like they said, our 3 boys were at a bus stop. I still meet people now, you know, that don't have social media. And then when they realise that I'm a mother of those 3 boys that night, they say, oh, the ones at the bus stop. No. I was never standing at the bus stop. We are in dark days. I could talk about Brexit, but I will save that to another time. We are in really dark days. Right now, it's a battle for freedom against tyranny. That's what it is. And against the safety of our children. Absolutely, Anita. Don't be silenced. Lose that fear. Lose that fear. People ask me now and again, will I do another demo for Justice for Our Boys? I know, like most people, the demos do nothing. You go there for a day. They know you're only there for a day, so they do nothing. And that's the other thing I like about the Yellow Vest. Every single week they are out there. Every single week. You know, but what you need to do, and the other thing I like about the Yellow Vest, when I said there's so many people in the Yellow Vest that have their own story, that are there for their own reasons, and to protect the children, the people and the country against our tyrannous establishment. Because believe this, the government are the snake's head and everything else is just Trojan horses being used. So I wanted to just recap you on how far we are with our boys' case, because it's 2 years this year on the 26th. We are still waiting for paperwork from the police, paperwork that we're entitled to. We are still waiting for. Unbelievable. But we will still continue to fight. I'm learning as much as the law as I can, because there is no one out there to save us, as I've said before, other than ourselves. It's only people power and us that can do this. Right, I've just read, I'm really sorry to read that. Someone's put a 17-year-old has been murdered and body dismembered and put in a bag across from your house. People's children. And everyone should care about the children. It should be given, shouldn't it? There's all sorts going on. You know, the video I put on my page yesterday that Mickey went and filmed, you know, with Cara and Mark, Cara's children. You know, Cara's 3 children, for anyone who watched that video, for anyone who wants to know. Cara used a Section 20. She had to go in hospital to have an operation, and she used that to put her 3 children in respite because she didn't have any family they could stay with. When she come out and recuperated after her operation, she went to collect her children. They refused to give them back. And anyone who saw that video yesterday, when they turned up yesterday at the home where her daughter was, they found her daughter was in a car with 2 men. There was not a woman present in that car. Her daughter was sitting on the man's lap. And the police come. They called the police. Cara and Mickey called the police because Cara has the documents, the false documents, to prove that the state has stolen her children. She has the documents to prove it. This isn't just someone saying it. She has the documents to prove it. They called the police. They wanted to show the police the documents. The police were not interested, because the police are complicit in all of this. All of this. So that's enough from me this evening. You will see me out there tomorrow. The Yellow Vests are out again tomorrow. And next week we will be out on the Saturday. Somewhere else. So as I said, we've been changing tactics in the Yellow Vests. We had a meeting on the 4th of January. To discuss what we was doing as Yellow Vests and to change it a bit, because we've been making it too easy on the police. So many Yellow Vests are up in court in February, as I've said before. So take care, everyone. Look after your children. And I'll see you soon. And never surrender and lose that fear. And let's have some people power. Let's go in stealth mode. I don't have all the answers. I wish I did have all the answers for you. But I will find the answers. I will do that. Take care and thank you. Never be silent.